Steelers Nation, what's going on? Today, we're talking about a franchise that is once again looking in the mirror and asking itself a very hard question. How do we get better? How do we evolve? And how do we win again at the highest level? The Pittsburgh Steelers are actively trying to perfect every detail of this organization, from the front office to the sideline, because the goal has never changed. Bring Lombardi trophies back to Pittsburgh. And that journey now starts with the most important decision this franchise has made in nearly 2 decades, choosing the next head coach. So before we dive in, do me a favor. Hit that like button right now if you love honest Steelers coverage, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything during this historic offseason. Trust me, things are only going to get crazier from here. By the way, if you're looking for official Steelers gear, jerseys, hoodies, hats, or the new Sideline collection, I left the link to the official store in the description and comment. It helps the channel and keeps you geared up for the season. Because today, Adam Schefter just dropped a major update, and it involves a name that could completely reshape the future of this franchise. According to ESPN insider Adam Schefter, Super Bowl-winning head coach Mike McCarthy is very much in play for the Steelers' head coaching vacancy. McCarthy has been busy in this year's coaching carousel, interviewing for multiple openings around the league. But his interview with Pittsburgh may carry more weight than any other, because this one is personal. McCarthy is a Pittsburgh native. This is home. And Schefter made it clear on Get Up that while McCarthy doesn't fit the traditional Steelers archetype, he may actually fit exactly what this team needs right now. We have always seen the Pittsburgh Steelers hire young, defensive-minded coaches. Yesterday, they had in an older, offensive-minded head coach, Mike McCarthy, who is from Pittsburgh, who would love nothing more than to go back and coach the Pittsburgh Steelers. While he does not fit the profile of any recent head coach that they've hired, he does qualify and he does bring certain attributes that would help this organization. That quote alone tells you everything. The Steelers are thinking differently, and that should get everyone's attention. Let's talk about the resume for a second. Mike McCarthy has been coaching since 1987. He became a head coach with the Green Bay Packers in 2006, where he won Super Bowl XLVI and helped develop Aaron Rodgers into an MVP quarterback. He stayed in Green Bay until 2018, then went on to coach the Dallas Cowboys from 2020 through 2024. His career record? 174, 112, and 2 overall. 11-11 in the playoffs. That's not just experience, that's credibility. And Schefter made it very clear. He is in play for the head coaching job. I'm not saying he's going to get it, but he's definitely a strong candidate. So, why now? Why McCarthy? Because the Steelers are stuck in one of the worst places to be in the NFL. The Steelers don't have a franchise quarterback, they don't have a high draft pick, and they play in a division with Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. That's a nightmare scenario. Schefter called it what it is, quarterback purgatory. They're in a year where they don't have a high draft pick, and they're not drafting one there that they can play. There aren't a lot of free agent quarterbacks available, not a lot you can trade for. What are you doing? And that's where Mike McCarthy changes the equation. Because if McCarthy is hired, Aaron Rodgers suddenly becomes a real possibility. McCarthy coached Rodgers for years in Green Bay. That relationship still matters, and while Rodgers isn't the long-term answer, he could absolutely be the bridge quarterback Pittsburgh desperately needs. 1 year, maybe 2, enough time to find the future. This is the chess move the Steelers might be considering. And make no mistake, this isn't just a coaching change. This is a full reset. Former Steelers legend Ben Roethlisberger said it himself on his Footballin' podcast. The house has been cleaned. The house has been cleaned. The coaches are gone. The training staff, the strength and conditioning staff. I think it's going to be a clean house, which sounds like a rebuild to me, but it's a build, a new build.
That line should send chills down every Steelers fan's spine, because with a new coach comes new culture, and with new culture comes tough decisions. Roethlisberger didn't stop there. He warned that even franchise cornerstones could be affected depending on who the next coach is and what direction he wants to take. There's going to be some talks, and there are talks. Well, if the new guy comes in, does he want some of the current veteran players to stick around? And then he named names: Cam Hayward, Chris Boswell, T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith. Those are the pillars of this team, and Ben made it clear some coaches will want them, others may want a fresh start. If you brought in a Mike McCarthy, a Brian Flores, guys that have that, I'm sure they would be like, nah, these guys, we need them. You bring in brand new guys that have never been affiliated with it, they might say, I want to start fresh. That is the real tension behind this coaching hire. This is where McCarthy's Pittsburgh roots might matter more than anything else. He understands this city. He understands this locker room. He understands the weight of the logo. A coach like McCarthy isn't coming here to tear it all down. He's coming to win now while building for later. That's a very different philosophy from a young, first-time head coach trying to create something new from scratch. And for a team with veterans still in their prime, that matters. This is bigger than just hiring a coach. This is about choosing between continuity versus innovation, patience versus urgency, rebuilding versus reloading. Mike McCarthy represents stability. He represents experience. He represents a short-term path to relevancy. And right now, that might be exactly what the Steelers want. The Steelers' 2025 season came to a crashing halt with a 30-6 loss to the Houston Texans, a game that was over long before the final whistle. No touchdowns, no late comeback, just frustration, confusion, and silence as the season ended in the wild-card round. And yet, this season was different. Painful, yes. Disappointing, absolutely. But also unforgettable, because no one believed in this team. Not the media, not the odds makers, and not even the fans. And yet, they found a way to win the AFC North, beating the Baltimore Ravens twice, including that unforgettable Week 18 thriller where the division title was on the line. This team fought, this team believed, and this team gave Pittsburgh hope again. After the loss to Houston, Aaron Rodgers stood at his locker and spoke in a way that felt different, calmer, quieter, more reflective. There's a lot of special moments I'll think back on. That was it, but it said everything. Rodgers has nothing left to prove. 4-time MVP, Super Bowl champion, future Hall of Famer.
But after a disastrous 2-year run with the Jets, Rodgers refused to let that be the final chapter of his story. He came to Pittsburgh knowing this was short-term. He knew the pressure. He knew the expectations. And he delivered something this team desperately needed: stability at quarterback. Rodgers' first game in black and gold set the tone. Week 1, revenge game against the New York Jets. 34-32 win. 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. For the first time since Ben Roethlisberger retired, the Steelers had a quarterback who could command the offense, control the moment, and give the team a real chance to win every Sunday. Rodgers finished the season with 3,322 passing yards, 24 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 94.8 passer rating. Was he perfect? No. Was he elite every week? No. But he was exactly what the Steelers needed in 2025. Competent, calm, experienced, and most importantly, believable. If this was Aaron Rodgers' final season in the NFL, then he can walk away knowing he restored faith in a franchise that had been searching for direction. He helped deliver a division title, he helped stabilize a broken position, and he helped remind Pittsburgh what real quarterback play looks like. The pain of the Texans' loss will linger, but with time, this season will be remembered differently, as a bridge, as a reset, as a turning point. And now, the real work begins. Because despite the AFC North title,
This loss exposed a painful truth. The Steelers are still not built for the playoffs. 7 straight playoff losses since 2016, tied for the most in NFL history. That's not acceptable in Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin's legendary streak of 19 straight non-losing seasons will always be respected. He is one of the most consistent coaches in NFL history. But with Tomlin stepping away, this franchise is entering unfamiliar territory. For the first time in nearly 2 decades, everything is on the table. This is a veteran-heavy team, one of the oldest defenses in football, one of the most expensive units in the league. Change is coming, and not just on the sideline. Contracts are expiring, voices will change, leadership will be tested. The next head coach will decide whether this is a reload or a rebuild, and that decision could reshape the Steelers for the next decade. One thing is undeniable. Steelers fans showed up. They packed the stadium, they brought the noise, they created an electric playoff atmosphere, and they watched their team get dominated. Those fans deserve answers. They deserve transparency. They deserve a plan. Because moral victories don't matter in January. Only wins do. So now I ask you, because this decision belongs to all of us in a way. Do you want Mike McCarthy as the next head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers? Do you want the Aaron Rodgers reunion? Or should the Steelers go younger and start a full rebuild? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. And if you made it to the end of this video, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications because the next move this franchise makes could change everything. Official Pittsburgh Steelers gear, new drops, and exclusive items, all in the link below. Check it out, Steelers Nation. Steelers Nation, we're witnessing history, and it's only just beginning.